So we were wondering what Dark Side of the Ring would do for season five. Now I did a top five video, basically talking about certain topics I would like to see done for season five. Now, unfortunately, as far as I know, none of those are happening as of right now. But the ones they do have on tap are actually very interesting, and some of them are surprising. Some of them, at least two of them, we kind of expect were going to happen because I think they originally had them planned for the previous season but couldn't fit them in. And we also have some other ones as well. In fact, one of them would explain why one of the wrestlers that got interviewed was interviewed, at all. So what are the titles? Well, according to the Wrestling Observer, if this is true, and it all depends on Wrestling Observer. Sometimes they hit or miss. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they don't. But considering Meltzer has been on that show a lot, as a talking head, as someone they interview, I'm pretty sure that this is, legit. But here are the episodes, and I'm sure Solid Monster will talk about these on Sunday, or unless somebody asks him tonight on his live stream review of SmackDown. But these are the episodes listed for season 5 as of right now. We have an episode on Kurt Angle. Yes, they're doing one on Kurt Angle, so obviously that's going to be a big one, and obviously they had to get Kurt Angle for that. I don't think it's going to interfere with anything he does with WWE, so I think he's in the clear on that. So Kurt Angle's story is going to be told, whether that's a 1 hour premiere or a 2 hour premiere, it's up to them because, that's going to be an interesting one to look at, especially considering what he's gone through throughout his career. Then the other one they got listed, and this is a surprise one, Brutus Beefcake. That's right, Ed Leslie is going to be focused on, which would explain why he was interviewed. I think during I don't know what episode it was, but he was interviewed during the last season of Dark Side of the Ring. I think he was interviewed during the Junkyard Dog one. I'm not really sure. But yeah, Ed Leslie, Brutus Beefcake's gonna have an episode done on him, and he's got an interesting story to say the least. There's no doubt he's got an interesting story. As a matter of fact, I think he was interviewed for JYD, but he was also interviewed for the Monty Jannetty one. So yeah, Brutus Beefcake, Ed Leslie is going to get an episode, and like I said, he's gone through a lot, no doubt, drugs and and stuff, and of course the multiple names that he's had to go through, and everything. The other one, which is a surprise, a real surprise, but then again, considering what he's done, in wrestling as a figure and as a legend, Harley Race is what we're gonna get an episode on. Harley Race. That's gonna be interesting. To see exactly what he was about and all that, and what led to him basically sort of kind of like falling out of the main event scene as he got older and everything, but still was constantly going as much as he could. And then there's an episode, I think we were supposed to get it last season, but it was held back. But they have done interviews, for it. We're going to get an episode on Buff Bagwell. That's right, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, the handsome stranger, as he was known in GWF, Global Wrestling Federation. So that'll be interesting to see, and find out a lot more about, Marcus's, Buff's background and what led to him kind of going into a downward spiral for a while and such. That'll be interesting. And then we're going to get one on Chris Adams. This was also supposed to be an episode, I think, that was supposed to come out last year, if not the year prior, if not last year, but last season, if not the season prior. So we're going to get one on Chris Adams, which would explain why they talked a lot about Adams in Tales of the Territories and in the Dark Side of the Ring last year during certain episodes. So we're going to get one on Chris Adams. Then we're going to get one on Sandman. That's going to be interesting. We all know, Sandman, for being who he is, and, his his character and, you know, how he presents himself. And that's going to be interesting to see exactly where that takes us, and, you know, and what, you know, situations he's gone through. I mean, thank God he's okay still, as far as we know, but it's going to be interesting to see, you know, what dark secrets and, you know, personal troubles he's had, you know, throughout his career. I mean, I'm sure being in WWE didn't help too much. And that's the honest truth. I mean, I was glad he made it there, but it's like, you know, going there and then, you know, previously WCW, it's like an old saying of don't stray too far from home. And I think that's what happened. And that might be something that's talked about here in this episode. And then the last one is Black Saturday. Yeah, Black Saturday. That is the day. They've talked about this numerous times, even in some official WWE capacities. But Black Saturday is one to where is an interesting story, because basically that's when Vince McMahon and the WWE purchased, you know, Georgia Championship Wrestling, at least bought up the time slot from Georgia Championship Wrestling to put their program on, or to put their style of wrestling, and the fans were none too happy about that. They did not like it, and it got to the point to where Vince had to sell, you know, that time back, or sell that territory back, you know, and thus, after what was it, like a couple of months or something like that, you know, people got their Georgia Championship Wrestling back, their NWA WCW back, you know, because they were not fond of what Vince McMahon was, you know, giving them. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting story. I don't know if that's going to be an hour or a 2-hour finale. We'll have to see. But as far as we know, that is what we are getting right there. I think you can see that. That is what we are getting right there. So yeah, it may not be exactly what we were hoping for, and maybe they got other plans for another season, because let's be honest, Dark Side of the Ring is one of Vice's, despite how you feel about Vice and, you know, what's going on with them financially. It is one of the more successful, programs that they have, and a lot of people tune into it because there are things in Dark Side of the Ring that nobody, not even, like when Solomonster reviews an episode, not even Solomonster knew about some of the things he would find out about, because, you know, he would talk about some historical stuff in, you know, some segments he would call on this day, you know, on this date, if you will. He would do these segments during his podcast, and he would mention some historical stuff, you know, and some of that stuff was covered by Dark Side of the Ring, but then there would be stuff, you know, that he didn't know about, you know, that he would, you know, be surprised about hearing and such. And he would also kind of, you know, mention things that they didn't talk about as well, that they kind of kept hidden. And I'm sure that'll be the same here. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're getting this year. We're getting Kurt Angle, we're getting Buff Bagwell, we're getting Chris Adams, we're getting Harley Race, we're getting the Sandman, you know, we're getting Brutus Beefcake, and we're getting the Black Saturday. That's what we're getting, and maybe there might be more. Who knows? As far as I know, that's 7 episodes. So we'll see how they space that out throughout the run, starting in March. But let me know what episode you're looking forward to for Dark Side of the Ring Season 5. And until next time, guys, talk to y'all later.